It's a beautiful Sunday evening, and as always, it's coffee with Mbuvi time. You see this face, you know coffee is happening, and a grand story is about to happen. I'll see you. Now, ever met these guys of yours? It seems like anyone who's done something in life has a big story. One time I sat down and said I have a big story and started writing a book. And every time I want to release it, I meet somebody with a bigger story than mine, and I'm like, hey, let me share. Do I have anything to tell people? I don't have anything to tell people. This guy has played soccer in a big way, big clubs in this country. He's done modeling agency, and this time, believe it or not, this guy has had 50 big ones, a deal of 50 big ones with him. I'm talking about 50 million Kenyan shillings. Zimbabwe, ama Tanzania. I'm talking about those ones, big ones. And somehow, he has a big story. He's a GM, General Manager of Samchi Digital at Rambia Juyake. Ladies and gentlemen, he's called Jeremiah Nyanga, a one-time political aspirant. And he's gonna vie again. Karibu sir. How you doing?
Niko salama.
Intro iko fiti ama kuna kitu nataka uongezee kidogo hapo?
Ni big time intro bro. Hey. Profile hata kushinda ya DP.
Hey, but he ni GM Samchi Digital, man.
Tell me more about it.
Mnafanya hapo?
Inaitwa greatness redefined, huh?
Great me, GM.
Yes.
How you doing, man?
Niko salama bro.
Samchi mnafanya nini by the way? Faule mimi najua, bawako Faule ajui.
Okay. Samchi kile tunafanya what is called digital content communication. And specifically it's about production of informative and transformative, educative content, and tunajaribu kutransform nayo society. Yes.
Beautiful. But hapa si pale ulianzia. I think tuende reverse watu na nyuma. Bwana Nyanga ulitoka wapi?
Reverse. Mpaka pale nilitoka.
Mpaka mali umetoka?
Nilitoka kwa tumbo ya mama.
That's a good start. Usiende juu ya hapo. Tuanzie tu hapo kwa tumbo ya mama.
Nikishatoka. Kama nishatoka ama nikiwa ndani.
Ukishatoka sasa.
Nikishatoka. Many years ago, born in the rural village in Siaya County, Ugunja Division. I was born to the family of the late Michael Odhiambo and Dolrosa Otieno, who my mother was a teacher and my father was an accountant. So grew up in the village after my father had passed on. I grew up under the guardianship of my grandmother, now also the late. So life in the village was sweet because I think my grandmother provided me most of the things that I needed, and she always advocated most of the things for me, especially because the family was big. Extended family was big, and you know, everyone with their families, their kids, they're pushing on life in respective ways, and here I was just like a standalone there. So alinionea huruma, so she used to take care of me.
How many years uko?
Standalone because I was born alone, no brother, no sister, and
only
then now
child.
Only child, and then now after my father had passed on, and then now, you know, that vacancy remaining there, so she stepped in, and so from there maisha ikaanza kuendelea. Yes.
Sasa love affair yako na soka ilianzia wapi?
Love affair yangu na soka in the village still, in the primary school that I was in, which the name is not easy to pronounce.
Hebu say tujaribu.
Wacha tupite.
Ndaanza kujuma na interview itaendelea.
Na unajua saa hizi ambulance zinashughulikia watu wa COVID pekee. Sasa sijui itakuwaje. So there's this one time some guys from Germany came to show us easy films zikuwa zikiletwa shule. The film was about the passion, and of course it was matter to do with Jesus. At this particular moment, I remember there was one teacher who had really wanted that I watch this particular show, but you know, my grandmother was a disciplinarian, and this film was being shown in the evening. So this particular day, I wanted to watch this show, but I did not manage because when I remember, like, I have to be at home by 5, and this thing is showing at 6. So I dashed back home. So when I dashed back home, so the teacher was looking for me, so that she had actually asked my grandmother for a permission that I stay late at anileta nyumbani. So the following day I came and he was like, oh, nilikuwa nakutafuta jana jioni nini, and you know, I was feeling so sad. you know, and I was anti-social, anti-games at that particular time because, you know, of what I had gone through. So this day, so now the following day when I came back to school, she told me, acha tuende PE. Forcefully, my situation made everyone to go for a PE.
Yes.
So at the PE, while we were playing football, that is when I discovered, kumbe pia mimi naweza
Katalanta kako.
kumbe kako, niache kukaa hivi. So that is when guys started, oh, your father used to play football, and then
Oh, he did, eh?
Yes. So there I started.
Why?
That is in class 4.
Okay.
So then growing up very fast, then a year later, I was taken to a boarding school, that is in 1998.
Yeah.
For those mathematicians.
Yes.
1998, I was in class 5.
Okay, so
Yes. I was in class 5, so when I went to boarding school, and our school provided us called, now this one you can pronounce, the other one was a bit difficult.
Yes.
This one was now called Ndere Boys Boarding.
Ndere is easy, Ndere.
Yes, Ndere, from Ndere, Ireland. So, Ndere, so I was given the opportunity to explore my talent in the boarding.
Right.
So that is where now I grew up, because when I got into the boarding school, when I was in class 6, I managed to get into the school team for the tournaments.
Wow.
The school game tournaments. So then from there, life continued with playing, and of course the competition was stiff. And here I am from the village meeting these guys from the city, you know, and you know, guys from the city are known to know everything. They are good in everything. Yeah, masomo, they are good at.
Yes.
For us, some words we can't pronounce. You know, these guys are just good. So personally, and also trying to fight identity.
Yeah.
I used football to create a niche for myself.
But you sasa pia wewe kanini.
Pia me, at least when people's names are being mentioned,
you're somewhere.
I'm somewhere.
Right.
Yes.
So you eventually played for some of the big clubs.
Yes, I've played. Yes, I've played for some of the big clubs.
And some of the big stars this country has
Yes, I've played some of the big stars from way back in high school.
Yeah.
You know, we are these kind of guys. We played for more than 5 schools.
Kwani ulihama mashule aje?
Sikuhama mashule. You know the tournaments, how the secondary school tournaments normally happen. They go in from the zonal division, you know, moving up. So hii shule huko wamegongwa zonals. Another one is proceeding, then you're called
it's like the higher services.
Yes. So that is even how I remember one time we were playing another tournament in Siaya County, and we were with Kakamega High.
Right.
So at this particular tournament, we were playing in a school called Sawagongo.
Yes.
These guys had thrashed in the whole tournament. Teams zilikuwa zinakula 10 kwenda mbele. So this particular time we were playing with Kakamega High, and within the first half, tuliwa hold on a draw. So in the second half, I remember this particular occasion, I got the ball at the half field, and I pulled that called Kimochakuku.
Kimochakuku ni nini?
Kimochakuku, it's that, you know, the hit you give the ball.
Yeah.
And it was going at the ground level. And I scored from half field. And you know that keeper that time, he was like one of the best within the region, the Western region. So like, ni nani amefunga huyu jamaa, you know, those kind of stuff. So the following year, cut the long story short, I was with them, playing for them. Tukakuja mpaka national, like the 204s, when we were playing with the likes of Dennis Oliech, and that was a big name back then. As a fullback 3. Oliech ni stima. Alikuwa naeka tu hapo nyuma yako. The rest ni Usain Bolt. Ashaenda. And that was at Kisumu Day. So hapo pia kanichafua jina kidogo, but I gained confidence at that time. So then I did my 4th form in 2005, and I came out. Just like any ambitious guy with football, I went for trials.
Right.
And I remember I started at Jericho All-Stars, Jericho 1, where we were playing in Jericho 1. I was in Langata, but I was playing in Jericho.
Right.
Then from there, a friend of mine, he's called Katon, was like, Jaluo lazimu uende. So I went to KCB, Ruaraka, for trials.
Right.
And Coach Shedu. And cut a long story short, yeah, that is how I got into the Premier League.
Wow. Sasa ulitoka kwa Premier League. I know ambition is which is a ball pengine when the international and everything. And the next shift is no, you're back to biashara. And 50 big ones are landing at you. What was the progression?
The progression actually was 2020, that same period, 2007. Kenya faced 2 bans from FIFA. One was because of a stampede that happened in Nyayo.
Right.
And here I was now with Kenya banned out of FIFA. We can't get involved in tournaments.
There's no national team for 2 years.
No, with that international ambition, you can't get involved in those other tournaments. So at that time now, you know, back to the big family. Another family member came and say, huyu atatusumbua. Wacha tumweke huko kwa forces. Aenda cheze mpira yake huko kwa forces. And mimi during that time I remember with a carton I'd Hepad Langata, so I was in Kayole staying with Carton, so that it was easy to get to Ruaraka for the morning practices. And I'm seeing either you'll pass the body of a police guy who was shot last night, you know, those kind of stories. Huko Kayole, not naongelea vibaya, but you know, those are the things I came across from the village.
The perception unaona kila mahali.
From the village, I went to Langata. From Langata, and I came to I'm seeing these things happening. I'm like, for real? This can happen? So now here's my auntie coming with a letter. She's niende Kigange.
Ile kitu unachukia.
Sasa zile watu wanalala. Yes. Mimi niko busy. Nalinda watu wenye wananichukia. That couldn't happen. So very fast I faked an injury and I stayed out of tournament for 6 months. I faked an injury so that nisiende Kiganjo. Hiyo miezi 9 kukimbia haiwezekani. So in the process I was involved in dramas in church. Yes. So when I was involved in the dramas in church, a friend of mine called, and I respect this guy for life. He's called Onesmus Muturi. Onesmus Muturi came and said, hey bro, una actiki church poa sana. So kuna hii progi inakam. Why don't you come and try? So at that time is when Tabasamu was coming. And so he introduced me to this guy called Kimaita Kiseo. So when I went to Kimaita, I did the auditions and I met a very good crew. And nikapewa role. That is when even the likes of Akina Nikumutuma, you know, we were just getting into the industry. Yes. But now kitu moja ilikuwa nikasirisha bana. And I was only appearing in few scenes. And now I got into this thing and I loved it so much. So that is when I thought, I learned there's something called being a crew. A crew, you constantly in the production process. Right. So I looked at what would be my role in the crew. Sijui kushika camera, because I think the only camera ni yai shika labda those guys who are going around in the village kupatia camera nishikia kiadjust kitu. I think that was only my interaction with the camera.
Hebu ngoja. Hebu nishikie hiyo camera. I'll be back right now with Mbuvi. Niko na Jeremiah Nyanga is about to tell us manenos. We'll be right back.
Remember them. So this was one of the qualities that a casting director needed to have. Yeah. So very quickly I opened a modeling agency. Right. And yeah, it was good. So this modeling agency is something very funny with it, because I actually casting in Tabasamu in Nairobi Law, quite a number of characters were needed. And so I kept on having briefs and I was looking for people, talking to guys here and there. Right. So by the time I was opening the modeling agency, at least there was a ground. Right. So there's this particular day that is very, very, very particular on. This lady called Charity Wanjao. So we were at the campus with her. Yes. So I tell her, you know, Charity, I want to do some biashara. So come we partner. Yes. So Charity came as my admin, and then we started, you know, the modeling agency. So in the process, her sister's friend was dating someone's son. And this someone's son, the father is prominent. And the father is prominent. This guy, all of a sudden, was interested in knowing who's this Jeremy Scout. Yes. That the lady
this chick is raving all about, calling her all the time.
So at that time, this chick, I gave her the first role. We were doing an advert for another big brand product. Yeah. So we were shooting it in South Sea. And we needed to get that jua ikitoka asubuhi. So South Sea was giving us a very good scene location. View. So the call time was 5. So normal how shoots goes. Transport guy go and pick so and so at Riara apartments. Yes. So when the transport guy went to Riara apartment, so instead of this lady coming with the van, the boyfriend decided to accompany her.
Because he's wondering who's this and what's going on.
Yeah. Nani anachukua mama saizi?
You know, nani anani slice mama mapema hivi.
So the guy came, so the van, transport guy called me, hey, this lady, huyu msee amesema lazima atamleta. Kama it's okay, wakuje. We are not hiding anything anyway. Production si yangu anyway.
Yes.
So they came, and then we started interacting. The guy also liked it. And then the guy also realized, kumbe, this is what my sister has been doing. And of course, without mentioning name, because I'm not anyway allowed, I'm not sure if I'm allowed.
Yes.
The sister became an international star later on.
Right.
Of course, from our discussion, the lady I'm talking about.
Yes.
So the guy got interested and said, what do you need, man, to make this thing big? I said, of course, money.
Yes.
Now, he connected me with another guy called Steve, and Steve was also interested. This time I needed an office, period. Because, I didn't want to do those briefcase kind of activity.
Yes.
So the guy was closing his office at that time. Then he said, instead of me closing, let me give it to you.
Office,
have it, you do your thing. So at Avenue House, 4th floor, that is where Lekki Casting and Modeling Agency began. So the first 2 weeks charity is there on the desk. Mimi, I'm on shoots and doing all those kind of stuff. And of course, with the social media at that time, I didn't even know marketing was a big thing back then, but we were using social media, posting jobs we've done with Tabasamu and all those kind of stuff. In 2 weeks, we had made 1.2.
In 2 weeks?
In 2 weeks. And this was through registrations.
Wow.
So there was this particular day, Charity wanted to buy a comp. And then she brings me, those requisition. Tunafaa kubai nini. And I'm looking at the comp, it's 45 Gs.
You're thinking, where will you get all this kind of money? Oh, ujangalia account kwaje?
I had not. I'm like, see, we do another job, then tumia tu yenye iko hapo, hiyo laptop yako ya shule. He's like, laptop yangu inaleta shida. Mbona utaki kuspend? I'm like, what do you want me to spend? So at that time, she threw, and this is, I think, a character lady's normal hair. She threw for me, it was like a certain bunch amefunga na rubber bands hivi. Akaniambia, kama utaki kuspend basi shida yako. So she threw them to me. So when I looked at them, the bank receipts. So I'm looking at them, I'm like, Charity is in. So those are the banking I've done. And then she gives me another paper. Then I'm looking at them. Okay, easy ni akina nani? So I'm asking, like, see, these are the registrations we've done in the last 2 weeks. Kwani unafikiria watu wote wanakujaga hapo wanakuja kufanya nini?
So her, she's thinking you're being dumb with money. You have money in the account. You don't know.
Me, I don't know. Me, I was there. We are shooting with the Onesmas. Either we were on location.
Hey, watu wengine wako Charity ungekiona hizo pesa zi. How ziko?
Yeah, no, she was loyal. She's still a friend to date.
Nice.
Yeah. So to cut the long story short, that is now where everything began.
Yeah.
So Steve, in a month's time, he came back. He was like, hey, bro, this office need to be paid. Come here, I've already paid. No. Just giving him the narration.
Yeah.
They're like, how did you guys do it? I'm saying, we have money, this and this. So I think for him, he saw an opportunity in me. He did not even ask about the money at the Lekki account. So he said, you know what? I have a PR company doing marketing. So why don't we also use these models to do activations?
Right.
I was like, what is activation?
Yani you're just learning on the job. Una move.
I'm like, what is activation? These things in supermarket. That is when I realized the ladies you see in supermarkets, they're from agency, they're not supermarkets.
Right.
I'm like, I walk in super, I see them there. Okay.
Or the employees.
Employees. Okay, so again,
cool.
I said cool. At that time, 2009, there was a company in telecommunication that was struggling with subscription,
right,
on membership. That time, Safaricom mobile usage was at 5 point something,
right,
followed by Airtel. So we come up with this concept of onboarding subscribers. So when we presented to the Muhindi Kubali, the activation was to be done nationwide. We won the tender.
Okay. So
after winning the tender, of course the down payment came.
What quote had you given this Muhindi?
The quote was 102 million. Yeah. Figures that I was only seeing in the paper. And I didn't know that.
So why are you quoting 100? Because even if I quote somewhere, I'll be like, easy pesa. Do I look like that money?
No, actually, with the guardianship of Steve,
right,
he was experienced in that sector. So Quotation ndio hiyo. When we went to present it, I think that time is the first time I walked into a boardroom where blacks were like 3. And these are not being a racist in any way.
Sorry, the rest are Kenyan Indian.
Yes. And so in this boardroom, I'm seeing Steve there with the projector.
Wow.
Of course, computer packages are done. So
yes.
At least najua Word, I could use Word.
Yes.
Excel, I could use it. But hizi presentations zingine PPT, hizo zilikuwa story. So me, I'm seeing Steve presenting, I'm seeing figures. Nasikia from that corner, mtu ameshoot a question from that way. And how will we do it in Migori? How will we do it in Mombasa? Me, I'm just there.
Steve anazibonga saa hiyo.
He's introduced me as the project manager. Where? Project manager, an idea. But I'm there.
So your lack of knowledge, you know what they say, keep quiet so that people don't know.
I was learning
on
the job. So the figures we quoted, of course, could ask me, how will we charge for models? Those ones I could give those figures because I was on the ground. Yes. So then this particular day, the half down payment came. And
that is 50.
Yeah. And so our first stop was Mombasa.
Kufanya nini?
Locomotion. Ni muhimu. You know, in Luo we don't say it's locomotion.
It's locomotion.
Yes.
It's not traveling, it's locomotion.
We needed to move easily. So we went, got for us some rides, first of all, came back, of course, set up the launch, and zero call rate came. And that project went like that.
Sasa 50 zilienda wapi hizo zote? Bado mkamaliza 50 ingine ikakam.
Yeah. But of course not all the money ilikuwa yetu.
Yes.
Our profit margin was of course in consideration.
Right.
But what was happening, you know, the gross income. You look at the gross income. And at that time, that is when I started interacting with so many people. Suppliers. So me, I'm looking at the list of suppliers. I see this is printing and branding. See, this is nini. So we are the one now who was paying them. So we are the main being paid to us, and then we disburse to respective. That time even G4S, I remember, was taking care of that particular.
Wow. So word has it, uliosa mpaka hata Zari All White Party, you had something to do with it? You
came later on. Quite a number of things I did, you know, sasa uko hapo, do iko hapo. I'm doing adverts left, right, and center. You know, things are just normal. And for me, one of the things, Mbuvi, I can tell you, growing up in the village has helped me a lot. Wacha nikwe mjinga, wacha nikwe ignorant, but things were falling in place the same way they're supposed to.
Wow.
So very fast, of course, remember the times of Hawaii, like in Eric Omondi, and so many things, interacting with the celebrities, being I have a modeling agency and all those kind of stuff. This concept comes in, all white party, supposed to happen, Skylark. Me, I didn't even know who that is. Ethiopia, unisamehe.
You have no clue, but you're like, how much do you need? What do you need it to happen?
And we did all white party at Skylarks. So, but this all white party, I remember the only thing that I regret to date was I lost a cool. Lost is too strong. I unplanned spent a cool 678,000
shillings.
Yeah. I normally look at those videos where I was chopping the money.
Ulisikiza kina pisku ya sana. Chop my money.
Yes. So by the end of it all, I messed up a big job. That's 600 and something. I messed up another job with a very big company that was has a chewing gum, and I'm the one who was launching that particular project at that time. And I messed it up because I recruited guys, and we had a meeting at 8 a.m. At their factory somewhere in Babadogo. They looked for me from morning. Dude, I was waking up at 1 p.m.
Kwani ulikuwa umetoka bash, ulikuwa umetoka?
See, I was at all white party chopping my money and drinking, and one thing led to another, and I blacked out, and I don't know.
You lost 678,000, and you're also losing a big deal coming.
Big time. So, you know, I'm those kind of guys, spending confrontations mingi. So what I did, when I woke up at 1 o'clock, I remember I came to town, went to bank, got some money. I went to the company and I got there with the documents and I told the Mdi, it was nice. I can't continue. Ila ibu peke kumenishika.
You're giving them a road deal.
We can't continue. And I fired myself. Let me say I fired myself.
That's interesting.
And I walked out. So of course now that was the 2014 now.
We'll be right back. Atuambia zaidi kuna story pia hapo nasikia ile wimbo ya Diamond alikuwa ameka Avril. Boy bado alikuwa na hizo story hapo ndani. We'll be back. This is Coffee with Mbuvi. Kunywa kahawa my brother.
Doctors treat, chefs cook, but
Mbuvi. We are back. This is Coffee with Mbuvi. My name is Mbuvi. Niko na Jeremiah Nyanga. Hii wimbo kuna wimbo nasema kesho tende tuka. Did you have anything to do with that?
Diamond.
Yes.
These are not the casino. You know, my office was just right next to the casino. So there was issues of doing the location, and I'm being told this artist is coming, Avril is there, having been a friend in the industry. So yeah, we made something out of it. And of course I didn't expect that song ingekuwa na wave hivyo. And even at that particular time interacting with like Diamond, me didn't even know Diamond at a
Did you even care? Ulikuwa na watu wakikuletea deal na?
You know, I was just living my life at that time. I was not concerned with so many things. I was not concerned whether he'll be a big hit, you know, those kind of stuff. But I knew he's a celebrity, and I celebrated him in my capacity and how much I could support.
But wacha nikuulize, how can something so big, phenomenal happen in Kenya and you have no clue? How can all the roads be being cleared off, Obama amefika nchi, and you had no idea? What was going on?
Do I call it depression unknown? I think after the 2014 deals and after the all-white parties and all those kind of stuff, I would call it the depression unknown. So I got into drinking so much, which of course is something that cumulatively had been happening. You know, you take it normal, like we wake up in the morning, we go pint, you know, we do this, we do that, we do this, and it's a lifestyle, and it's eating you up, and you don't know.
You're not aware.
I'm not aware. I'm just there, I'm having fun. I'm there. See, I'm leaving. Kwani, what else should I be doing?
Niko nako.
That was not an issue.
Yeah.
So I remember this particular time, and of course, this friend of mine, I respect him so much. This guy, we used to go drink. Huh? At some point, we don't have money, and he say, "Bro, twendeni tukate maji." That was the word. And our two brands were Viceroy and how do you call? This one on Jameson.
Hapo singekupatia any idea. I have no idea. Nikakwambia tu kahawa na chai.
Kunywa kahawa.
Kunywa kahawa.
So I remember this particular time in the afternoon, we were drinking somewhere in West T. And when we were drinking in West T, it was heavy. So this particular day, we decided to retire home early. We started early, so we wanted to retire early. On leaving the place, we were somewhere on Brookside Lane, huko. So we were coming. So me, I'm on the wheels. My friends are seated here, and we are going home. So me, I get on the road. You know, you talk up Brooklyn, then I get on the road, Apple Lion Place TV. So I start driving, and I'm not seeing cars. And me, I'm like, okay,
free highway, hallelujah.
So me, I'm driving, going. So when I got to the mall roundabout here, I could see. Niliona, you know those American police guys, the way niliona na nika so nakuja ukitoka the mall kuna kuwa na tree fulani hapa, then from that tree you start moving to Galileo. So me as I approach there, bado kuna gari nimeona, so me I'm coming, so mbele niko na guys wakatokeza, niko na tunafanyiwa hivi
kutoka kwa barabara.
Then I saw another car kanitokezea, tukatolewa kwa barabara hivi. So after reaching Galileo kuna kuga nako katani,
yes.
And we were forced into that turn to go. Of course after kuvurutana hapo tulivurutana kidogo, we were high anyway,
yeah.
We were just saying to wonder. So ndio baadaye mkubwa alikuwa Kempiski, hii barabara ilifungwa, sisi vile tuliingia the roadblock tuliingilia nyuma. Unanielewa? So even this one of West T, so unajua wali block hapo kwa the mall, wali block hii barabara inatoka Sarit, hizi ziliblokiwa. So sisi tuko kwa highway already. Yeah. So these guys walikuwa wamesoma hapa, it's like waliona maybe this is just gari moja gari yetu
Oh, so I mean, you look so confident.
To get down there. Yeah. So Obama was in CG Kempinski, and this we were like, who's that?
He's here? What do you mean?
When did he even get in? So when we got home, then we're looking at screen, the TV ndo tunaona, sijui naona sijui hapo UN inakuwa set up, sijui supposed to be in Kasarani, and like, huyu Jakogelo moja huyu najua ndio yuko. Again, ignorance, innocent as I was living, and I was living my life.
So najua director wa karibu kuanza kuninulia mikono. Before he does that, I want you in a short span to speak about how do you move from, you have this whole deal, 100 million deal, you're doing well, you're doing all these big things, to ending up sending things home and being in jail.
Very fast, and I said depression unknown. So coming very fast, 2016, 2017, identity, I get into politics, I try vie for Langata.
Kakitu kana kusumbua?
No, I think it was just identified. Hata si kakitu. I was just trying to get myself into the space. So siasa ikakuja, ikapita 2017 after campaigning and all those kind of stuff. So end of 2017, man, I'm nil. I'm billers. I can't call anybody. I'm just finding myself. I'm there. Mimi ni nani? Kwetu si ati tumekosa. So me, I'm here, like, went to Marikiti, look for hizo lorries naletaga ma fruits, talk to the guys. I'm like, okay, me, I'm moving back home. Kujeni, and nikabeba kila kitu.
Back home Siaya sasa.
Hiyo jina ngumu. Huko. So lori kaenda. So me, I took that I found that nilikuwa nishauza gari, so ambulance, yeah? You know those ambulance. So naenda nikachukua the shuttle. So kwa hii shuttle, like between Nairobi to Kisumu, because I just remember probably the director telling me, hey bro, tumefika. And I'm like, okay, Nairobi to Kisumu, how did we even get here? So like I got lost into mawazo. And he was even telling me, Nakuru guys walishuka wakaenda kukula. Okay, mingo walishuka saa ngapi? Because I was sitting right next to him.
Yeah.
So in that process of thinking about, sasa mimi ndio nimekuwa home, nini, all those kind of stuff. I'm going back, how will I support myself, how will I support my family and all those kind of stuff. So when I go to Kisumu, lori lishaenda mimi, I branched in Kisumu. And in Kisumu, so many things happen. I visited a friend, and for like a month I was there. Sikufika destination, so I was here. So in Kisumu, April 2018, March, towards the end of March 2018, a friend calls me and says, hey, wait, there's this deal I want us to do, again, activations. And in terms of mobilization, hiyo najiamini. So I came back, and the guy gave me a good deal, made some few millies here and there, and I started getting back on foot as far as finances are concerned. But I had a struggle in me. I was struggling with alcoholism. So much. Yeah, I was really struggling. And I kept on praying to God and trusting into God that at least hii kitu initokee. Then at that time, got a few cash here and there, I opened a depot, wines and spirits and
unajaribu kutoka mapombe na unanunua depot ya mapombe
somewhere in Ngara.
Gosh.
So this particular Friday, because you've mentioned a jail. Yes, I've been there. Yes, I was supposed to serve miaka ngapi? Tatu tamo. Intact. So this particular day, I went to Ngara, check on stock, and then we started drinking stock. Drinking
Let me
stock.
check on the stock. Let me see the stock. Yeah. Let me open the stock. Let me try the stock.
And the stock took toll on me. So the guys we were with, I was to drop one somewhere behind Feather Huko. So yeah, after checking stock, drinking, I was dropping him. Then I was getting back home. I remember passed quite a number of clubs, stopovers. But the last club next to my place, which is like a kilometer away from my place, my new place after nimeenda Ocha nimerudi, village immigrate pia liendaga Ocha akarudi. Yeah, ndio hiyo. Sasa somebody called me and I was going to see this somebody. And on my way to seeing this somebody, this somebody was in Rongai. Me, I'm saying in Langata, this guy is in Rongai. So I was going to Rongai and I was drunk as drunk. So I got an accident, a head-on. I got a head-on with somebody. And long story short, traffic police came. After pia tushapigana na huyu jamaa hapa, me, I'm high, I'm talking like
Umeshampatia zake.
Yeah. So the guy handcuffed me, and when inasema siku ya nyani kifika mti zote kwa nini uteleze. That was my day.
Oh, no.
And my day, the first thing that happened, my phone decided to go off on me, and everything just like going. I ended up at the police cell in Rongai on a Saturday morning. I don't have a phone, umelokiwa huko. Luckily, I don't know how this lady got to know about it, but I think she was just passing by, and then she saw me at the OB, because she came on Sunday now. She saw me on Saturday, she came on Sunday. On Sunday, she took my phone. On Saturday evening, she took my phone, she went, charged it. Sunday, she brought it back. So when she brought it back on Sunday, so me here, I'm being told kutoka hapa ni 100 Gs, and me I have to give 30. Me, I'm trying to tell these guys, chukweni tu itu achi story. The other mambo ya gari tutasort insurance, nini. My caricature kind of a car was like a write-off. Hiyo ni kagari kengine pia
caricature.
Yeah, nilichukua, I was using, so that like a write-off. So I'm telling them, I'll sort this one out. And I ended up in a court in Ngong. And I remember that lady judge passing judgment on me. And she asked me those last question unaulizwaga, ni nini ungetaka kusema kabla sijapitisha judgment yangu. Nikafungua roho, nikaongea, but she still passed the judgment, fine or 3 years. Mimi ndio huyo. This lady was still with me at the court. So because the fine nilipigwa na whatever I have, hata zimatch or haziwezi match. So I gave my phone to her and the money, and I told her. So mimi nikaingia kwa lorry.
Where are your drinking buddies?
If it was allowed, if my conscience were allowed, I would have mentioned a number of them. But let me not mention, because they were not there.
Sema tu.
Haki, hii ndio kamera yangu.
Ndio kamera yako.
Haki ya Mungu kuwa. Na hata nilikuwa tuna record nazo mangoma.
Oh my.
Ukaniambia unanitumia do, mpaka leo nangojaga hiyo do. But nilienda Inda. So I went to Inda, and in Inda is the most pathetic place on world. Wachana zile mnaonaga kwa movie tafadhali. So I'm here in Inda. Everything is not cool, everything is not good. I remember one of the experience I don't even know how to explain. When I was told to go and change nguo after kupigwa kofi juu nimesema married to a Kikuyu lady with that askari gel. Yes, because when I was recording kuna inaitwa kukaba. You don't talk to askari gel kama umesimama. Who are you? So umekaba, like umesquat, umeka mkono hapa. So me, I'm talking, and when you put your hand like this, all these are just ziko kwa hewa. So this guy asked me jina bibi yangu. So me, I decided to mention that lady's name. Hey, boss, he sent me huko and saying like, guys from Western who marries a Kikuyu. And then I was like, okay. So I get back, he sends me, tell me go and take the clothes. So me naenda kuchange huko kwa clothes pay. It's so pathetic. Nilichagua nguo for like 5 minutes na sikupata nguo mzuri. Zote zimeraruka, siji zimekaaje. So there's this one trouser that I took. Mguu moja inafika tu hapa vizuri. Nyingine inafika hapa. So mimi nikaiva. After nimeambiwa nitoe kila kitu mpaka boxer. So si nimeiva. When I went back, when I tried kukaba, I realized all my things are
wangemwachia. In other words, wangemwachia tu boxer akae nayo.
And we got into the food, to how people are sleeping, to the following day. Mheshimiwa is being brought in. It was just a bad experience. And I remember that particular moment I just talked to God. What took me in jail? I didn't mention that. What took me in jail is drunk driving. Drunk because I tested.
Driving under the influence, DUI.
Yes. Then reckless driving and then causing an accident. You know those kind of nini. So huko mheshimiwa amekuja, mimi naona watu guys, and I remember this particular day on a Tuesday because I got on jail on a Monday and I was to serve miaka 3. Bado nakoga nayo kadi yangu ya green, nimelaminate. On the second day I talked to God personally, because even when I was doing all these things, I can tell you, and my church probably can confess to that, even when I was there, I was drunk as hell. I would go to church, sit, listen to my bishop, period, I go.
Drunk and hell, seeking heaven.
Yeah, heaven night matter.
Sasa itabidi to summarize pole. I want you to give me at least what gives you the incentive to come back to life, and because we really don't have minutes, and get back on your feet to where you are right now, and what your take home is and what you'd like to tell people.
Very first, I called myself to a meeting at the jail, at the prison, and even how I got myself out on the third day, because I stayed there for 3 days, and I did self-assessment and understood in this life, all of us go through a lot. We go through a lot. My turning point was when I was going to prison and I was calling people to help me. There are people who are also calling me, asking me for money, and they did not know my situation. I considered myself at that time, I'm in the most dire need, and I needed support. And I got to realize, before I say Mbuvi ameninyima kitu,
you don't know what is going on.
I don't know what's happening with Mbuvi. I should not assume because Mbuvi is ever smiling. Maybe your smile and what I was calling the unknown depression kind of, maybe Mbuvi is also in those situations.
Right.
So never be quick to judge. Never, ever. And I never judged anybody. And after calling myself to a meeting, I said, that is not the life that I want to live. And I got back. And of course, I stopped drinking in that 2018. And you know, life has been good because I've known so much about myself. And between 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, I think I've achieved so much compared to what I lost between, because I consider my year of lost was 2013 to 2017. Those are the years that I cannot account for it. I can't. Apart from hapo kwa jail is account for it.
Give us a parting shot, and it should include something to do with what makes you resilient. Keep coming back.
The greatness, getting to know the greatness is in you, is one of the biggest things that you can ever get to know. I got to know the greatness in me, and the greatness in me all lies in what God has placed in me.
Wow.
And if you can have a personal, candid relationship with God, nothing will deter you from achieving anything you want, because one of the things that have made me so resilient is I know here I have creativity, I have brains, I have a lot. And when I put them in action after recovering from my alcoholism, of course, sequential rehab, God gave me back. God restored me. And I kept on listening to Gloria's Muliro song. God will restore everything that you ever lost. There is no single day I don't play that song. Even in my car, I play the song. I play it.
Zige! Everything the Ziggers have stolen from you will be restored. Thank you, Jeremiah. Bwana Jeremiah, please give us your handles. Then you can say, is a rap. Handles zako.
My handles, Mimi, I would only want you to go and look at the program that we put up on a competing station to this. It's called